Hi, I'm Purifaldan. Welcome to yet another biology class. Today we will discuss about the preservation of chapter microorganism in standard 8. We know that microorganisms can spoil our food materials by discharging some toxic substance. So how can we prevent their action? Or how can we prevent the spoilage of perishable food? That known as a preservation. Preservation is the method or the system by which we prevent the spoilage of perishable food from the interaction of microorganisms. That known as a preservation. Now, why should we preserve the food? First, we know that microorganisms can spoil our food. To avoid the spoilage of the food, for the long storing of the food, we can use the preservation. Even preservation ensures the availability of some out-season food. That's why we are using the preservation. Now, how can we preserve the different food materials? The first one is by cooling. We know that cooling is freezing. So, we know that the low temperature inhibits the growth of microorganisms. So, if the vegetables or some food materials kept into the low temperature, may some microorganisms present within the food materials. This low temperature will inhibit the growth of microorganisms. Now, that will help to preserve the food. The second one is pasteurization. The scientist Louis Pasteur invented one type of process which continuously heating and cooling alternately done to preserve the milk or dairy product or the wine, that known as a pasteurization. Now, in case of the pasteurization, first for the over 30 minutes we have to heat the milk for up to the 60 or 70 degrees Celsius temperature. That will kill the bacteria present within the milk, and suddenly this milk will be cooled down. If any bacteria present within the milk, that will be inhibited, or that this temperature will inhibit the growth of the bacteria. This type of process are termed as a pasteurization. By using pasteurization, we can preserve the milk. The third one is dehydration. D means removal. We know that within the food materials or the food materials like the fish or the meat, some amount of water present. So the process by which we remove the water from this type of food materials, that known as a dehydration, that can be done by the most commonest way. It is the sunlight dye. By using of the sunlight, we can dry this. Even by using of the smoke, we can remove the water from the food materials. So dehydration is the process by which we remove the water from the food materials. And it can be done by using of the sunlight or the smoke. Now the fourth one, by using the chemical preservative. Some chemicals like sodium benzoate or the potassium metabisulfate, this type of chemicals also help in the food preservation, that known as a chemical preservation. Now, in case of the fruit juice, to preserve the fruit juice, we are using the sodium benzoate, and the potassium metabisulfate are using for the cutting foods or to store the jam jellies for in the long time, that known as a chemical preservatives. And the next one, by adding the sugar and salt. We, we know that when any food items like the fish or the meat are brought to our home, then we are adding some amount of salt. For what? Salt, the high concentration of salt, almost the 18% salt can absorb the excess water which present within the food materials like the fish or the meat. Similarly, over the 68% of sugar are used to preserve the food. These are the commonest method by which we can preserve the food. In our next video, we will discuss about the nitrogen circle.